So Bonnie Mommy says that she ain't gonna make another video unless, all right, here is that unless. The 80s and the 90s began my love affair, true love affair with music. I would have to say it began with almost country music, because we had a close family friend. She listened to a country station, but in reality, it may have even been before that. I don't know how far back I can remember, but when I was very, very young and we lived over in Clearwater, my dad was a mechanic back then, and he must have been doing side work, and I remember him playing music while he'd be outside, either James Taylor or Iron Butterfly, you name it. And that music, just these rich tones that came out of the turntable that was like, seemed like it was 20 miles wide, made of this weird shape in wood. And then, I don't know, maybe it's a dream, maybe it's a memory, my mom with her 8-tracks playing the Carpenters and the Legend of Billy Jack soundtrack just over and over and over again. Norman Greenbaum. Oh wait, that's ZZ Top. Shit! Well, it's close to that. Spirit in the Sky. Then nothing for a little bit. Then some country. And then I remember us getting cable TV sometime, and there was MTV. Started out MTV at one of my dad's friend's house. I remember it now. I don't remember what year it must have been, but I don't think MTV was all that old. And the type of music that was on there, whether it being I don't know what you call it, new wave, progressive. I remember yearning for guitar. And Toto eventually came out doing their thing, and I really clung to that guitar. And it was through MTV, I think it was not Jock Jams, but the rock and wrestling movement with Cyndi Lauper and Captain Lou Albano and Hulk Hogan. That got me into wrestling for the longest time, professional wrestling. But MTV stayed with me. And I also dug rap and breakdance. I tried to breakdance as much as I could. And because of that got me into hanging out with a lot more black friends than white friends, because you could get George Clinton and the P-Funk All-Stars and all that other really good shit that I felt on the inside. Now, along about that time and through MTV, Michael Jackson, I still to this day, cancel the man, but keep the music. You know what I'm saying? Just good stuff. And I can't think off the top of my head a Michael Jackson song that I don't like. Similar to Madonna, in all of her different twists and turns, and as much as my music taste must seem eclectic. And then later on, my dad with classical. What was the name of that? It was a group that they were classic, but they had almost like an electronic effect, similar to the Disney Electric Light Show. I can't remember the name of it right now. But I do remember my dad being such a technophile. He bought a CD player really early on, and also got this variety CD it ranged from Electric Avenue to Men at Work, Land Down Under, to freaking Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon, all on the same CD, coming through with a different tone through those same speakers that I don't know how he rigged it up, or if I'm remembering incorrectly and he got a whole nother system. And he might have, because I remember it had like that twin tape deck that all people seem to have. But again, ZZ Top hitting big on MTV at that time, and so entrenched my love of music. Then the 90s, and I went from hair metal, again because of my guitar, and then Metallica being my transition to a heavier metal, which led me right into grunge. Some people are polarized on it. I liked Nirvana a lot. I liked Pearl Jam at first too. And you know, when I found out about Mother Love Bone evolving into Pearl Jam, I thought that was pretty cool, and I got into Mother Love Bone for a while, and Hunger Strike and all that other shit. And STP, I found out about STP through the Headbangers Ball sex type thing. Came on the Headbangers Ball, you know, and then 120 Minutes on MTV. Then I graduated high school. Kurt Cobain takes his own life. But after I graduated high school, I began to go to live shows, going to college over at USF and Ticketmaster and shit. You couldn't keep me from a local live show. And my best friend from school, he went up to UF for school, and he went to live local shows. So here I was hitting the big famous shows down in Tampa while he was up in live local shows. And man, he turned me on to this band called Four Squirrels. And it's interesting, that type of music. And I'm recently, because I play the album through my iTunes, and then their previous album with Cabaret and Bay Path Road. Now these are all local Gainesville artists, and there was a club called the Covered Dish that we'd go and see these bands, and got into slacker rock at the same time with Southern Culture on the Skids. Saw them there, and then they had a slacker rock festival that was just really cool. Driving and Crying was like on the bitter edge of that. They seemed to be like a hair band that transitioned to that. What does this have to do with our group? Well, I remember, Bonnet Mommy, you saying that Shafe shared with you some stuff from his band around that time, tying this all together. So it's sort of like Candle in the Wind by Elton John, you know. So there Shafe is up on stage, and now you're hearing about the perspective of the young man in the 22nd row who saw you as something more than sexual, more than just darn Shafe on the guitar. We had a subject a long time ago in the Sewing Circle about music. Shall Not Be Infringed at the time chimed in, and we got into detail on Black Sabbath and some of the other groups. And I think we may have even posed the question of, and we were talking tape decks at that time, if you had a tape stuck in your tape player that was on constant repeat, you know, what would it be? I know for my mom, it'd be the doggone Grassroots. And then for me, if I was a kid, I actually went through this other phase when I was around 12 or whatever, and man, Tiffany and Debbie Gibson, I thought they were so hot. When I thought Cyndi Lauper, I wanted her to be my naughty babysitter. I always like gals with that type of fringe style. Maybe even call it editorial from the 80s. What do y'all got?